Welcome to the second video for Business 375, Production Operations Management. So in this video I'm going to give a brief overview of strategy and how it applies to the operations side of an organization. Please note that in your capstone course, Business 450, you will cover strategy in much more detail. Here I give my perspective on the material covered in Chapter 2 of our textbook, but you will get a different perspective from Business 450. So, what is a mission? In essence, an organization's mission statement should answer the following question: where is the organization going? It should be clear from the mission statement the organization's purpose for its existence. That is, what does the organization provide society? Missions can also help define boundaries and delineate what the organization's focus is. So then, what is a strategy? A mission describes the why of an organization, whereas the strategy is the how. It is the action plan to help achieve the mission. Each functional area within an organization, for example, marketing, operations, and finance/accounting, the way we had defined them before, should develop its own strategy and align it with the organization's overall mission. One common tool used to develop a strategic plan is a SWOT analysis. Now, I'm assuming you have been exposed to SWOT analysis before. In a few minutes, I'll describe it a bit more and what I expect you to know about it for this particular course. So again, the organization's mission statement tells it where it is going. The strategy tells the organization how to get there. So we need to be very aware of the difference between those two. So then, what is the intent of a vision or mission statement? So in this class I use the terms vision and mission interchangeably. Please be aware that this is a gross simplification and you will learn something quite different in Business 450. But the simplification is sufficient for our purposes for this course. So the vision/mission statement should communicate the organization's values, its aspirations, and purpose so that employees can make decisions that are consistent with and support these objectives. As an example of an organization taking this intention to heart, all you need to do is walk over to Maine Med or Mercy Hospital and ask any one of its employees what their mission statement is. Many healthcare organizations require their employees to know the organization's mission statement. In reality, most of these employees carry the mission statement with them on the back of their ID cards. Why do they do this? Well, the idea is simply that in a very patient-centric environment, such as a hospital, it is vital that all employees, from the janitors to the nurses to the doctors, understand the values of the healthcare organization and provide their patients with care consistent with their goals and values. So how do we formulate a strategy? We can think of it as a four-step process. First, we need to define the organization's primary task. In essence, the primary task can be thought of as the goal. Once we've formulated that goal, the organization should assess its core competencies, then determine the order qualifiers and order winners, and then position the firm to take advantage of this information. In order to fully understand this process, we need to define a few of these terms next. So, the organization's core competency is what your company does well enough to sustain a competitive advantage in the market. Order qualifiers and order winners are characteristics of the products and services that your organization offers to its customers. Order qualifiers, and there are generally many of these for each product, can be thought of as the characteristics of that product or service that makes a consumer consider it for purchase. An order winner, on the other hand, is the characteristic that convinces the consumer to pull out their wallet and actually make the purchase. As an example, suppose you want to buy a new TV. What are some of the order qualifiers? Perhaps screen size, price, and the type. For example, is it a plasma, an LCD, an LED, all that fun stuff. And maybe even the different types of input hookups would be some of your desired order qualifiers. The order winner is heavily dependent on the individual consumer. For you, it might be the price. For me, it might be the brand name. So SWOT analysis, again, identifying the core competency and key success factors for the organization or unit often comes about while performing a SWOT analysis. I am assuming that you've encountered SWOT analysis in your other courses, so here we'll just briefly talk about it. More than likely, the most I'm going to expect you to do is be able to correctly identify what the acronym stands for. The first two letters, off on the left-hand side, are for internal attributes. The S stands for internal strengths, while the W represents the organization's internal weaknesses. Honesty surrounding these two provides the necessary basis for a well-planned strategy. The last two letters are for external attributes. The O stands for external opportunities that exist in the marketplace, and the T stands for external threats, such as competitors or perhaps even uncertainty related to future events. After identifying these four areas, an organization is then poised to develop a well-planned strategy. The development of the strategy begins with the analysis of the environment. So, like we just talked about, this would often be used as a SWOT analysis. Using the analysis, the corporate mission can be created and or modified. Then, the strategy can be formulated to take advantage of the combination of the mission and the results of the analysis phase. Examples include deciding to focus on quality or perhaps focusing on after-sale service. For the operations side of the organization, we want to identify the various key success factors. In other words, those things that are important for our organization to be successful, and also identify our core competency. With these in mind, we should build and staff the organization around them. Then we need to ensure the operations are closely aligned with the activities and strategies within the organization as a whole. In essence, the operations manager's job is to implement an OM strategy, provide competitive advantage, and increase productivity. There are three commonly used, broadly defined strategies that many organizations turn to for competitive advantage. They are, number one, differentiation, number two, cost leadership, and number three, response. Let's briefly discuss each. So differentiation can be thought of as what makes your company's product or service unique from all the others that are in the marketplace. It should also be noted that uniqueness can go beyond physical characteristics and service attributes to encompass anything that impacts the customer's perception of value. For our purpose in this course, we define value as perceived benefit per cost. So again, the definition of value is perceived benefit per cost. This allows for individual customer preferences. Some examples of an organization using a differentiation strategy include competing on quality, and we will define quality more specifically later in the course, being customer focused, or experience differentiation. A good example of experience differentiation is Walt Disney World. Where else can you go and be fully immersed while being a princess for the day? When an organization decides to compete on cost, it does not necessarily imply low quality. There are other ways to keep costs low. For example, by waste reduction, such as eliminating overproduction, eliminating useless processes, or eliminating waiting, just to name a few. Again, we are trying to provide the maximum value as perceived by the customer. Two examples include Southwest Airlines and Walmart. Walmart prides itself on being the pinnacle of an efficient supply chain. Basically, that's getting the product to the customer as efficiently as possible, and is their primary source of their cost effectiveness. And then finally, we have competing on response. Response is composed of a set of values related to rapid, flexible, and reliable performance. Flexibility is the ability to match what the market is demanding through the use of innovative design and the ability to efficiently change the production volume of your products. Reliability can be thought of as how well the organization meets schedules for production and delivery. Timeliness involves how quickly the organization can design, produce, and deliver new or modified products. Even within these broadly defined strategies, we can utilize another classification scheme, the time of introducing new products or services into the market. First-to-market organizations are often considered the innovators or the leaders. Second-to-market firms might be considered the copycats. And the late-to-market organizations are those that enter the market space when a product is mature and they can produce it at a much cheaper than they could before. And finally, we could consider market segmentation as a way to classify organizations. These are companies that can identify different types or groups of customers and specifically and effectively market to them, to each group. The prime example of the most fine-grained market segmentation is the used car salesman. Within a few minutes of walking on the lot, he is often able to determine your budget and your personal characteristics and then lead you to the car within your budget that will be the most profitable for him to sell you. And then finally, one type of organizational classification is important enough to mention on its own. It is the focused organization. In essence, when an organization takes the focused approach to its strategy, it is saying, we cannot be all things to all people. Instead, it focuses on one or two areas of its strengths and puts resources towards those areas. A few examples include IBM for its customer service, GE for its focus on technology innovation, and Procter & Gamble for its strength in marketing. So that finishes up Chapter 2, our brief intro to strategy. Again, when you get to Business 450, you will have a much more detailed and semester-long course in it.